What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Mike Thomas's Garage. We're out here in the garage tonight, Saturday night, getting ready to finish up these water lines for the boat and get that all situated and done. Because once we get those done, then the cooling system for the motor is done. For the water lines going in and exit to exit out is done. Then all we have left is the water lines for the headers and the fuel pump relay, which I got the relay and stuff. So this is the plug that we have. Got this at our speed shop here in Colorado. And then here is the relay that we are using for the Magna Fuel 500 fuel pump. So this is going to be the ones that my brother's going to come over and help me with. He's just got, like I said, he's got some things that he's got going on that he's trying to get his car and stuff ready for a car show. So once he gets some stuff situated where he can get time to come over and show me that. But it's going to be, I'm going to get everything else done where these right here are the only thing left to do to fire up the boat. I'm going to get the water lines finished up for the motor tonight. And then tomorrow I'm going to go get the valves for both tanks to get those turned off. And so once I get those done and install tomorrow, then we are done until I can go get the water lines for the headers. And then I'll get those built Monday, get that all ran, and get that all plumbed up and ready to go. And then after that, it is the fuel pump relay, and then it will be done until we get it fired up. And again, that will be next month. I'm not sure what time next month that we will be able to get to do that, since we're still here freezing our butts off and it's freaking cold and snowing. So again, hopefully we can get a nice day next month where I can back the boat out and hook the water hose up and check all that. So again, that's going to be next month, depending if we can get a nice enough day to actually do that. So definitely after this 3-4 day weekend that I have this weekend. So after this weekend, everything will be done except for the fuel pump relay. So once I get everything else done, then we'll just cover the boat back up, and it'll be there until we get ready to do the fuel pump relay. So and then after that, we are going to be jumping back on the OBSLS build. So just real quick, I just need to do a couple things before we cut some hose and do all that, because I got 10 feet of steel braided line to finish the water. Really didn't need that long, but I always like to have extra, so just in case if there's a little mistake that happens in length or getting ends put together, then I have flexibility for that. So since this is 10 feet, I'm hoping that I can get I'm going to just use that steel braided line to go from my valve that's up here by my seat back to the pump, and then also from the valve to the T for the headers. So I'll walk through that. I'll walk through that with you guys too as well. So this way, when I go down Monday, I can go down Monday to our speed shop here and get the rest of the line and the fittings, and then I can come back. I can get that plumbed up and finish that all up, and then water lines for the headers are done and all that. So let me do that real quick. I'll show you what I'm doing with that, and we can go from there. Kind of excited, working on the boat. Got the boat drags going on in the back. So let me get you guys set up, and then show you what I need to do for the water lines. So here we go. Okay, so I kind of got this figured out for the water valve for the headers. So let me show you what I have going on for the water valve for the headers. So right now I ordered 10, so I got 10 feet just to finish up the water line here and the water line right here. So I ordered 10 feet. So I gotta do the two water lines from here down to a T, and then run it out the back right there. So right there where that black hose is at with the blue fitting next to that nut, that's going to be where the two water lines exit out from here and here. So these two lines will go into a T down here and then run out to that blue fitting going into that black hose. And then here's my header valve that I have, that I mounted. So my plan is, how this is laid out, is I'm gonna have a hose come in down to the side. So there's a hole, there's another hole like this down there. So I'm gonna get a fitting that screws into here. That's for a -8, comes out for a -8. That's gonna be a 90 for down here. And then I'll put a -8 fitting on here. That's a 90 that will screw in down here, and it will run out this hole you see here. And then I'll put another one fitting right here. That's a straight. That's a -8. That's a -8 male. And then I'll run another steel braided line like this with a 45 right here. And then that will run back down here out of the other hole and run up to the T here. This is the T for the water for the headers, because here's the water line going into this header, and then there's the other one. And then I have this T, and this has a spring with a little check ball in it. So this is for the headers. And then so I'll have another feet. I'll have some more steel braid line coming back from the valve up to here and screw into this, and then that'll be done. So that will be the whole purpose of that. So that way I can control the water that's going through the headers. And because before we were getting too much water we were getting some water going into the motor, because before we had a check valve. It's going to be kind of like this right here. Let me show you. So that T valve right there, I had a bigger one that was actually plumbed into the headers, and I actually had that barely cracked open and hooked up to this new T valve that I purchased. I got that from I got that from Huffman Performance, and the water was just, because the power that this motor is making was just shoving that spring and that check ball back and allowing the water to get in there when it wasn't supposed to. Because just even with this backed into the water and still sitting hooked up to the trailer, the water was just blowing through there and opening that check valve and having water going through the headers, which we really didn't need that just sitting on the trailer or just idling into where we park the boats by the beach and anchor it to our buoys. So with me putting this valve up here by my seat, that will allow me to control the water going to the headers and to prevent that, to prevent water to get in there as we're just idling. And then when I get planed out, I can turn the water pressure up. So with that valve, it has 3 settings. It has low, medium, or high. That valve will never be on high. That should be the only one that I'll probably actually really use is the medium hole. So there's 3 holes. There's a very small hole, and then there's a next size up, and then the high side is the kind of the biggest hole that's there. So Like I said, we're just going to use the medium side for this, and we'll go from there. But that's what I'll have to do. So from that steel braided line going back to there, so I'm trying to. So there's so off the water that I showed you before. I can show you again. So let me show you. So that T right there, this steel braided line right you see right here, that's going to splice into there, and that's what will run up to here, and then I'll have another steel braided line that runs back and goes back, kind of wraps back up in there and comes underneath the boat, and it will go to this right here. I'll have to get 25 feet of steel braided line because that one steel braided line there is 10 feet, so that will go from that T back there up to that valve, and then I'll get 25 feet. I'll probably get 27, 28, just have a little extra if for little mistakes and stuff. So I'll get about 28 feet, so that way it comes up to the T, and then that'll be done. So, and then I'll need to get 2 fittings that need to screw into that, and then some other fittings. So I got that all mapped out. That's what I needed to do. So now we can go ahead and get the rest of the water lines hooked up here. So here's this other fitting. This is a brand new fitting that I got. And so here is the fitting I showed you guys on the last video. So now this is a -10 to a -8. So now I'll go ahead and get this ran and hooked up and set up down to the T that will sit down here and then run out to the back. So yep, I'll go ahead and get that. I'll pull the steel braided line back out, and I'll drop down that I need 28 feet, and then we can for doing that header valve. But right now we'll have enough to get this all done, and I got the fittings. And so let's go ahead and start getting this all mocked up, cut the fittings, and build these steel braided lines and get the water lines finished up. Oh, here's my, real quick, since I'm already here, I'll show you the studs and stuff, the red studs that I had put in here. So here's the kind of the red studs. This one I haven't pulled out yet because the Allen head here on top is so that's kind of stripped for some reason. So what I'll do is whenever I take the blower back off, I'll take 2 nuts and put them together and to back this stud out, and then I can put the red stud back in it, and then we'll have that and situated. And then here's the other side. So we got the red stud put in here, and then we got the red stud put in back there. Now this one and then this other one back over here. So these two are the only ones I did not change, and due to the reason is because of these nuts right here. So I have this one, and then I have that one there, and that is what is holding this linkage right here to get this linkage all put together. I can't change those for that reason. So everything else will be done that way, and stuff. So I'm pretty happy with those. Kind of like those. Kind of sets it off a little bit. And so yeah, once I pull the blower and stuff off in the intercooler, so I'll do that. And the reason why I'll pull the blower and the intercooler off, I'll do that after I get a heat cycle in it, because I will go through after getting a heat cycle in and just tighten down the intake bolts. I have one here, and I have one right there, and then there's 2 in the back on the intake I can get to. But of course on these one, you have this one, and then there's another one on the back side of this intake right here on both sides. So, and that of course is around the water jackets for the head. So what I'll do is after I get a heat cycle in it again, I will pull the blower and the intake, or not the intake, I'll pull the blower and the intercooler off, and I'll tighten down all the intake bolts, and also to make sure that there's no water filling up in the intake. 'Cause I know when I pulled this all apart before. I did see in one little section on the water jacket on the inside of the intake that there was some water setting in there. So what I'll do is I'll get a heat cycle in it, and I'll pull the top part of this off, and I will check to make sure that there's no water in there, and plus also double check to make sure that those are tight. And then probably halfway through the season, I'll probably pull it back off just to make sure those are tight and make sure there's no water coming up into that intake for inside there and all that. So yeah, so again, once I do that, I'll pull that stud and change that to the red one and stuff. And I'll keep these black studs just in case if I get tired of the red, I'll put the black studs back in it and all that. So so that's done. I'm actually kind of like the look. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and start building these water lines for this, and I'll check that off my list, and that should be it. So I'll get this steel braided line pulled out of here and start making some measurements of what I need, and we'll go from there. All right, I'm gonna have to go cut this end off a little bit, and then we can get the fitting put on here. Okay. And this right here is the T that we're going to be using. It's a -8. Put one there, one down here, curve it and go straight. I'll just have to use this. That way. For all those making it big out there. Okay. Showing your mobile service be able to keep up with you. Xfinity Internet customers, have it like the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus on us with Xfinity Mobile. Alright, so. Okay, so I got the 90-degree put on here. As you can see, I was kind of messing with it over there. And this is the length. You need to cut it. So I marked it with a marker. And then I put the black electrical tape around it. And I did it where the mark is right in the middle of the electrical tape here. And then now I'll go over to my cutter and cut this. And then put the other 90-degree fitting on this end. And then hook it up to that T, and then vice versa to do the other side, and then run it out the back. So let me go cut this, and we'll build this side here. Then I'll blow out the line so that there's no junk in it. I know there's going to be water going through this, but I still want to make sure everything's cleared out and we have no issues with water lines. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and blow this out with compressed air so that all the junk is out of it. So let me go do that real quick, and then we should be good to go to install it. Okay, got this all blowed out. Got our fittings on. Let's go ahead and install this on the motor and the T, and then we can make the other side. Okay, so running the other water line. It is getting hooked up right here, and then this blue one, this blue line will get hooked up to right here, and I'll probably have to get, once I get everything tight, make sure that it's not going to interfere or rub. But let me go ahead and grab my wrench. We'll get this tightened, and it runs right down here, and then this is the T. I'll probably have it run on the inside here to the T, and then I'll build the other line coming from here down to here into a straight. So that'll run right here, and then I'll have the other line kind of come down and along here into a straight, and then I'll just get some zip ties. I'll zip tight here, and then I'll run the straight from here all the way back to that T. So, and then let me get this blue line hooked up here. So before I do this, I'm going to make sure that this line right here that you can't see, that we installed to the intake, I'm going to make sure that's tight first. Okay, that's tight. Now, this all up. Tighten this up. And this right here will be the hook right here. So I might have to get some protection to go around, some hose wrap to go around here, so that way it does not rub a hole in that water line. But there's the way that's going to look down into this. And then now we just got to build the one from there. We'll kind of build the one from here. Kind of, so yeah, we'll follow it from here, come down along the side here, run it to this T, and then I'll do a straight, probably into that 90, probably into a 90 into that. So let me go ahead and get the other end put together, run it down to that T, mark it, then we can cut it, and then all we have left is the straight from there to that back exit, and then the water lines for the motor is all plumbed up and done. So let me get that fitting put in that other hose, and then we can mock that all up. So we got our straight put on there. It's going to hook up to this one. this down. So now we got it ran from there, running it down here. And then right there. Now I'll grab the other fitting so we can mark it. And then that's done. And then what I'll do is this will actually run behind this right here, and it'll get zip tied to this line right here. It'll get zip tied to that one. So that way it's away from the crank trigger, and that way there's no interference with rubbing or grinding or stuff to interfere with that crank trigger. So we'll do that and then run it from the T all the way to the back. So let me grab the fitting and we can get this marked. Okay. Let's see. All right. And that right there is where it needs to be cut, and then I'll just put the black electrical tape right in the middle, and then that way right in the middle of the black electrical tape will be where I cut it. So now let me pull this all off and we can get that in cut, and then we are on the home stretch of getting this finished up. Okay, so this is it right here. And I'm trying to keep everything where it clears. There's no interference with this. And then I got it hooked to here. It's run down. It's on the other side of this wire here. And I'll zip tie it there. And then I'll put the other line straight from here to that one right there, and we should be good to go having the water lines done. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the other end on the other steel braided line, the last, and then run it from that T out to that, and we are done for plumbing the water system on this motor. So let me go do that, and then check that off the list. There's that. Let's see where we are now. There's the line. There's a lot of stuff going on down here. And then we'll run along right here. So, and then once I get it ran, I'll try to run it along this motor mount right here and be clean. So it's kind of sitting right here, but it's got to go to that fitting right there. Might have to pull this fitting off, or this header off, to actually get in there and actually look at it better. So let me go ahead and pull this header off. That way I can actually lay there and mark it and get a better accurate reading. So let me get this off and we can go from there. Okay, just got the last of the water lines built. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that ran, and we can get it hooked up and get the header put back on and get that situated. And we are all done with the water lines for this motor. So let me get you guys set up. We'll get this all hooked up and we can get this wrapped up for tonight. So it's all done. That's it right there. I just gotta have to zip tie. I'm gonna run everything along this, zip tie it, and then all we have left is the header valves, that control valve for the waters, or for the headers, and that's it. But other than that, right now the water lines are all done for the motor. So now at least if I'm ready to start this, once the fuel the fuel relay for the fuel pump is done, this thing is ready to have water put through it, because necessarily we don't need that header control valve up there to start it. So, but I want to get it done and over with so that way everything's done and all that. But I hate building steel braided lines. So, but it's done, it's over. I just got to run everything nice and neatly and kind of get things put up and situated so it looks a lot better than what it does right now, because right now everything's kind of overlapping stuff. So now I can zip tie, kind of tidy things up, and that's it. So I'll get that done next, and then I'll go down and get the water lines for the valve Monday, and get the fuel tank valves for both fuel tanks tomorrow, get those installed, and then so by Monday, Tuesday, this thing will be done until we get the fuel pump relay situated, and that's it. So so that'll probably be it for this video. So probably the next video that you'll see on the boat is when we go to fire it up and start it. So if you, again, if you guys want to see me go live on starting this, let me know. Like the videos. Let me know. Also, let me know down in the comments if you guys want to see me go live on firing the boat up, getting it started, and all that. So, yeah, please let me know down in the comments if you want to see me go live on starting this, and we can go live starting this. If you don't want to, then I'll just do a regular video of me starting it and then putting it out after I get it started. So, again, appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe, share with your friends. Share with your friends, family, all that, and let's keep growing this channel. I really do appreciate everybody watching. It means a lot, and for the people that have subscribed so far, it means a lot to me. And if we can get more people to subscribe and like the video and stuff, that'll also mean a lot. That will also mean a lot to me too as well. So again, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys on the next one. Thank you.